Agent here on 101.9 FM on Intuitive to Intentional. God is good. It's hot outside, but I'm still thankful to be in the place today. And I had to do it at least one more time. We had to get this special co-host in the building. And who do we have other than Coach Dana Spencer herself? How you doing today?
I am doing amazing. How are you? How are you feeling?
You know what? I feel good. We both logoed out. You got your hair did. I bought mine's fresh. We all in a good place right now, right? But it is hot outside, though.
It is hot. It is hot outside.
Man, I don't know what happened, but it is hot. I had to take my jacket off, and I always wear a jacket. But look, it's a beautiful day. It's a wonderful thing. But you know what, Coach, I had seen a video, and I want to talk about it. I know Mr. P, we don't plan for what we're going to talk about. We just go
organic.
It's just organic. It's the chemistry we have. But I seen a video of an artist, and the artist was talking about accountants. I had to watch it closely, right? He said that pretty much he didn't trust accountants because the accountant that he had stole for him. Right. Then they start talking about another famous comedian that apparently owed taxes, and his accountant or his tax preparer was not paying his taxes, but deducting the amount as though he paid it, and he was keeping it.
Ooh.
So Mr. P and Coach, that made me feel some type of way, right? Because then everybody was attacking accountants and legal professionals, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I'm in two of the least trustworthy professions, that's real estate and accounting. And I've been trying to figure out, Coach, how can I make them trust me? Because I'm not like everybody else. But you know what I realized? That you have to have a solid team. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a team that you trust, then it doesn't really matter what they are able to do or what they're capable of doing, but you have to be able to trust them, and they have to trust you in return, right? And you can tell. I feel like you can tell if somebody is fitted for your team. What do you think?
Well, I mean, there are so many good frauds out here. Think about when you are Dooney and Burke or Louis Vuitton, those replicas, like the fake ones, they look really, really good. So it's very difficult to tell the difference between a fraud and somebody who is legit. I mean, I can think of several people who I have gone through recently with my business on the team, and you're thinking, oh yeah, this is the one, this is the person who's going to get me to the finish line. And you reach out to them like, hey, when are you going to send me that? Crickets. Like, so I have to say it's tricky figuring out who you can trust and who has really got your back, and only time will tell.
That is true. That is true. But I guess the way that I move, especially with my business owners, I give you the information that even if you don't want it, we're going to meet in the beginning.
Right.
We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about it, especially as your business grows. Okay, you got certain people investing in all this property and stuff. Once you start building up, no, we need to sit down so we have a game plan going forward and make sure that it's working. That's the way I move. I don't write my name on anybody's checks. If it comes down to that, now don't get it twisted. I have some larger clients. That's what they want. But for the most part, no. If you want something written and there's a check, you got to come meet me or I'm coming to you. You're going to see what this check is going to. You're going to sign it. I'm going to witness it, or we're going to get 2 signatures on this bad boy. Because I need you to understand that I am there to be on your team, not just be of service to you, if that makes sense. It's a combination of both. I hope that makes sense.
Right. And I tell you, and let's just be honest and transparent here, is the first meeting that we had and you did my taxes, I remember I had an LLC, and I remember you talking the LLC, S Corp, whoop, 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 want language. And then you probably saw my face just like glaze over. And I have an accounting degree, but my face just glazed over. And then you said, when it's time for us to deal with this, I'll bring this back up. And I was like, that's the answer. And right. To your point, I just trusted, right? I didn't go out and research on my own. When is it time for me to get an S Corp? I trusted you to say, you know what? And you did. It's time for you to move toward the S Corp model.
Right.
Because it just went completely over my head. Now I heard you speak again about it. And so I was able to understand it a little bit better. But to your point, you have got to trust the professionals that are in your life.
Yeah. But like you said, time can only tell.
Absolutely.
Definitely can only tell. But if somebody is like, just let me do it, and not keeping you in the loop or educating you or communicating with you, to me, that's a red flag, I think.
And then, not to talk about the flight assessment, but there's a certain behavioral preference of us that trust people too quickly. Like there's a whole, like, and I'm one of them. My dynamic is, because I take you for face value. If you tell me you're going to do my taxes, I just assume you're going to do my taxes. If you tell me and I pay you to do my website, I expect you to do my website. But everybody ain't like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then sometimes you build these relationships, which is why I don't like calling my clients. I call them, we have some type of relationship. We're building something. Because I just went through some stuff with a parent, and it pulled me away from my business. So my response time was slower. And it wasn't that I was trying to avoid anybody or, not get the task done. But I'm saying, hey, I'm in the hospital now. And then when it got clear, I had to go back to the hospital. And then it was a circle. And now, I'm a caregiver, which changes the whole dynamic of somebody's life. And I'm a single mother with businesses. So I'm grateful for building relationships, because by building those relationships, I can say, hey, I apologize for not reaching out to you because that wasn't my norm. That's not my normal behavior. I'm in a transitional period. But if someone is not effectively communicating with you, or if you don't like what they're saying,
that part,
then it may not be the person on your team.
Right. And to your point, this whole caregiver thing, until you've done it, you have a completely new appreciation for it. Because my mother had knee replacement surgery earlier this year. And it's really, you have to figure out that right rhythm. And to your point, with all of what you have going on, I can't even imagine what that was like. So having other people that you could trust in your life, I mean, it's just critical.
It really is. But it, like you said, if you've never walked in those shoes, you're not really fully going to be able to understand what that person is going through. But it takes a conversation, not an argument, not a debate. Hey, coach, what's going on with you? Normally you talk to me a lot quicker. Hey, Aleshia, I know you talk to me a lot quicker. Let's have that conversation. Don't assume the worst. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and see, now you're taking me to the assessment again, because some people are not confrontational. They would rather look at their phone, you haven't responded, and just, here it is, make assumptions. So write this down. Don't make an assumption when you should be asking a question.
Say that one more time.
Don't make an assumption when you should be asking a question.
Facts.
And you can hear it all the time. People who are non-confrontational will go to somebody else and say, oh, I just assumed that since she didn't respond to me, that we wasn't doing business together no more. Or I just assumed that since she didn't say anything, that I was supposed to go to somebody else and get my nails done. I just assumed, and usually it's assumed, I just figured that. Those types of words are when you should ask a question instead.
And then when you get the answer, listen to it, right? Because sometimes people are giving you the answer and it's not what you want to hear.
Oh man, I just recently had an experience with this too, because you're right, it's not what you want to hear. So I was on a call with my course creator, right? And he was going in on me for whatever reason. My energy was off. I mean, he was just letting me have it. He was like, "And you look different." And then he was like, "You look younger. Like what's going on with you?" So he was like, boom, 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 asking me all these questions, and I'm feeling some kind of way. And when I finally got off the call with him, I was like, I didn't have any makeup. I'm like, you mean to tell me I look younger with no makeup on? Then I'll quit wearing makeup. So listening to him and you trying to, you know what I'm saying, attract or do whatever, listen to the customer so that you can do what the customer wants. Instead of, oh, well, I don't care what I'm still going to wear makeup and it still makes me look older. I'm going to have on lashes. I'm going to do weaves. And the people you're trying to attract don't want all of that. You're not listening. So listening is critical.
You know what? This is good. Mr. P, this is good. You listening? Because that was good, because a lot of times I know for a fact I can sit here and say, okay, this is the deadline for this, and I'm going to make sure we get this done at this time. I have clients that will call me every day. And I'm like, hey, we had a conversation, we met, we went over the plan, but they're so used to people not doing what they said they were going to do. So at first I heard him say it and I'm listening to him and I'm trying to cater to his needs. But I'm like, hey, the longer I talk to you, the less time I'm getting the task done, right? But then I had to check myself and not assume. So I asked the question, hey, why is it that you feel you need to call me every day? And he told me, he said the last accountant that I had didn't do what they were supposed to do. Now he's not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 years behind on everything. Right? So it made me realize if that was me and I'm trying to do what I'm supposed to do and I was dependent on my team, then I had to check myself as the person providing that service. You know what I mean?
And that's what I heard. I was like, oh, that person probably has trust issues. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with what happened in the past. And that's exactly what it is. And we see that in so many different areas.
So how can somebody deal with trust issues when they're trying to build a team?
It takes time. And it's important to me. It's important to understand other people's behavioral preferences. So like now, I don't work with anybody who I don't give the flight assessment to, because I need to understand you, because sometimes I can get a feel, but since sometimes people are acting in their adaptive and that's not really who they are, then it's hard to tell. So that's why the assessment is so important, because it gives you the facts without them acting differently because they feel like they're being watched.
Man, I thought about you the other day. My mom, she's an ordained minister. She's a pastor, and she has some people coming underneath her. And she's a teacher. She's a phenomenal teacher of the word, right? But she was looking for a spiritual gifts assessment. And so she's talking to me. So we sit down and we end up putting this little quiz together, asking certain questions or whatever. And she started to share it with her members. And she said it was one of the best things she's done, because by sharing it, and not with her members, but her students, she was able to know how to communicate with them, how to encourage them, and how to direct them on what path they should go in. She said it was the best thing. And you know what? And I thought about Coach Dana, because I'm like, man, when I did mine, we had conversation dialogue, but I feel like our conversation kind of changed a little bit in a good way. The way we communicate is to me more effective. It doesn't take a whole lot, but it's effective and it's strong. So I do think assessments or even a conversation or getting to know each other is beneficial to any team.
And we don't do that. I remember being in training with Dr. Eric Thomas, and I remember sitting there thinking, this is going to change our community, because we're not used to doing assessments. We don't want, if somebody was to say, hey, do this assessment, I'm like, I ain't doing that. But it helps you to understand how to communicate. And what's the number one issue that most people have is communicating. Yeah. And me treating you how I want to be treated is completely different, because you may be different and want things delivered to you differently. If I don't know that, then I have an attitude about something that I don't even need to have an attitude about. Why? Because I try to treat you like I want to be treated. And that's not how you prefer to be treated.
Dang. They hit a lot. I just had a situation on that not too long ago. It was a couple and they was sitting there talking, and Mr. P, how those conversations can go when you having those counseling type of moments. But they were saying the same thing, same exact thing, but they wasn't listening to each other. That one wanted to be more a touching, loving type of emotional connection, and the other's a task. Do this for me. And then that's how they communicated. But they wasn't slowing down enough to be able to say, okay, I want to give you what you need so that you can give me what I need, right? So I don't know if y'all ever seen the video, but I love me. I don't know if I can name drop. But the mans, can I say that like it? The man. So that's what they said in their relationship. He said that if I give her all the love that I have and do everything that she wants, she's going to give that back. He's like, I don't have to do everything, because I'm giving her everything she needs and he's giving everything that I need, right? I know that sounds jacked up as I'm comparing it to building a team, but if I give you all that I am in the situation or on that team or whatever your dream or whatever your vision is, and in return, you give me everything that I need in order to do that, I feel like that's what's going to build, if that makes sense, it's going to build a solid team, because we're both communicating the way that we deserve or want to be communicated with. Help me out if I mess up. But we are also going to be able to give all of us, if that makes sense. It's like if I believe you and you believe me and you're talking to me in a way that I will listen to you, then I'm able to do more for you. I want to do more for you. I'm more invested in what you have going on because I know you are invested in me as well. Does that make sense?
Well, and then there's a certain type of people who need more details in order to fulfill a task, and then some people who don't. So it's just so important that you understand who you're dealing with, because there's some people you're like, well, why didn't she do that? I asked her to do this, this, and this. Well, if you didn't explain it exactly the way that other person needed to receive it, then some people would just do nothing. They would rather do nothing than to do something and it be wrong, because they're so non-confrontational. They don't want to have to deal with that confrontation, and they would rather do everything to avoid that and not do anything and not mess up anything. And then they just get stuck and do nothing.
I got to work on that because I don't mind being confrontational.
Right. And it's crazy. And for the people who are non-confrontational, you'll be like, why don't you stand up? You'll be wanting to stand up for other people because they won't stand up for themselves, but they would rather take a back seat than to ask a question. They would rather, and I've seen it so many times, I really see it. I mean, I say where I see it at the most, but since they're so non-confrontational, sometimes they tell stories. Like they lie, and it's a white lie. It's not lying to them because they want to avoid confrontation. And then they turn around, since they don't want to confront you, they talk about you behind your back. And I don't think they mean anything by it, but they just don't like confrontation.
I think we can end yes, you hitting me all up. Yes. Yeah. And then what makes it funny is that some people talk about you behind your back, but if you have been steadfast and on your character and making sure people know who you are, what I've experienced lately is that same situation, but they start talking about me behind my back and the people didn't believe them. Right? They're like, nah, that's not Aleshia. That's not her. That's not the interaction I've had with her. But you're right. Like, yeah, I got hemmed up, y'all, in my office. So all of y'all, let me make this clear to y'all. I love God. I love the word, but please don't try me. But somebody try to hem me up, coach. I told them, I said, hey, this is not going to work. I cannot be your accountant. I cannot be your real estate agent. This is not a fit. I can refer you to someone else, right?
You went Tupac on them?
I did. So she decided to come up to my office. Oh, yeah. Mr. P came up, looked at me, got close to me, eyeballed me like we was about to fight. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking like, God, you know, your time is different than my time. I feel like I ain't been saved that long in this moment, right? Right. I feel the struggle is real right now, but I just smiled. I explained to that person again, hey, it's just not a fit. I'm not designed for your team. You're not designed for mine. It's just not a fit. Well, she just didn't like that answer. So she balled her fist up. There wasn't nobody else around. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, when I'm dealing with challenges, I ask myself, what am I supposed to learn from this? So that way it keeps me calm, where I'm able to say, okay, this is what I want to do next. This is how I want to react. God, tell me what to say next. Because what I want to do,
that part
can mess up my business, can impact my future, right? Yeah. So let me keep my professionalism. But you're right. Some people enjoy confrontation, I think. I don't know if that's a part of the assessment, but I know that's something some people enjoy it. Yeah. And she came up there thinking she was going to get one thing and got something different. And I just kind of stood there, Mr. P, and I prayed, y'all. If you're listening right now, please try Jesus.
Amen.
Not Aleshia. What else you been going on? I heard you got some things popping on your end, Coach. What else you got going on?
Well, yes, I am starting my own podcast, and I was supposed to start it a year ago, but hey, I couldn't get the clarity. And if I don't have clarity, I don't do anything. I'm like how I was talking about earlier, but got the clarity that I needed. And so now I'm recording episodes so that I have them. I have an order that I want. So with my real estate journey, I interviewed my mentor, and then I want to interview the agent that I had, and then my general contractor, and just some people who have helped me at the beginning of the process. And then the other people will just be people who are real estate investors around the town. So it's been super fun so far.
Man, It makes it even cooler. Check this out, y'all. I hope y'all listening. So I end up showing up to an event, and I looked out, and we both were speaking at the same event and didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it. Did not even know it.
Man, but it was an awesome event.
It was.
It was really good. It was what was it? Wisdom and Wealth. Is that right?
Wisdom and Wealth Conference.
Wisdom and Wealth Conference. If you have, I know they're going to do it again next year. If you have the opportunity, if you see that, you definitely want to show up. It was a lot of information. It was a lot of connections. It was a lot of powerful individuals that want to do great things that was in that room. So definitely you want to check them out next year. If I get some information, I know I'm going to share it. I know Coach will probably end up sharing it as well. But what you think about it? Did you like it? Was it good?
Yeah, it was. And we need to value personal development.
What is personal development?
Personal development is realizing that there are some areas that you can learn. Mm-hmm. There's some things you can learn. There's some skill sets that you can learn and be better. And I really think that personal development got a bad rap because it was introduced to us via corporate America. And anything that they said, it felt like, oh, this is something else they just want us to do. And we didn't see the value. And I'm so thankful. Shout out to Master Builders Academy. I'm so thankful that I was able to see the importance of personal development via a nonprofit, because obviously they have nothing to gain. So I was able to see how important that it really is. And what I'll tell people at an event, anytime you go to an event, a conference, a workshop, anything, it's more about the people in the room than the speakers. It always is. It's about the relationships that you are going to build within the room. And it's just not about the speakers. It's just not.
Yeah. That's true. Because you can network. I met somebody that makes some good hot sauce in there.
Oh,
man. And I think she's down south somewhere, maybe Houston or something like that. But I would have never met her if I didn't go and be in the room. Which sometimes you ain't even got to know what's about to happen. If you know that's the topic, something you're interested in, go and see what it's about.
And I promise, I've gone to events that didn't even care that much about the topic. You see me, I'm always out and about. I went to an accounting one-on-one. Like, she does my accounting, but I went to this 6-week event on accounting. Why did I do that? Because of the people who could potentially be in that room.
True. Yeah, true.
So don't do things just because for yourself. But, building relationships is so important, regardless of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whether you're in corporate, whether you're an entrepreneur, regardless of what, even if you're in athletics, regardless, building relationships is important.
Man, you know what I asked this I'm not gonna call him my mentor, but somebody that's done a lot of things along the journey, right? Phenomenal man. He's like, hey, whatever you need, I'm gonna tell you what to do. He's been in investing, real estate for 50-something years. He's like selling property because he's trying to lower his portfolio so he can retire a little bit. So he is very knowledgeable.
Did you hear her say somebody selling property and she ain't connected me with that person? Okay, continue on.
So he's awesome, right? So I'm about to buy my first property. One of them is from him, my first investment property. Well, my second. And he's like, okay, hey, this is what I want you to do. So he is literally owner financing at a lower interest just because he wanted me to get my foot in the door on this already ready to move home. And I'm like, cool, let's make it happen, right? Well, after I start talking to him more, our conversation is about an hour long because he is always pouring into me. And I realized that my desire is not to take from somebody. My desire is to have some type of personal development going on with me. And if that means having conversations that last a little bit longer from people that I know can provide that wisdom, that knowledge to me, then that's worth my time. And that's what I feel like personal development is allowing that. Let's sit this on the back burner for a minute. Let's schedule some time to be able to develop whatever your profession, whatever God has called you to do, whatever your gifts and your talents is, spend some time in that so that you know how to use them and use them effectively.
Oh, 100%. And you don't have to always be talking. I mean, we've all heard that, we have one mouth and two ears. Like, listen and ask questions. It's not about, if you meet somebody who is doing the profession that you want to do, it's not about getting a selfie. It's about thinking, oh Lord, what question can I ask them? Like, how can I ask an intelligent question? And guess what? When you ask important people intelligent questions, guess what? They remember you.
Oh yeah, they do. They do. That's facts. You'd be surprised. You go walk in the room, they'll be like, oh yeah, Dana, hey Aleshia, how you doing? I'm saying, like, I didn't know my one question made that much of an impact on you and I to get to know each other. So it's cool.
Not just any question. Whoever said that any question, there's no stupid question, they were stupid. So think about intelligent questions. Like pray. Look, that's what I said. Pray and ask the Lord, give me a good question to ask this person.
True. But I do think that you should ask questions to those individuals that has done what you're trying to do. And it's not necessarily about education, but that actual experience with doing it. Because you can have all the knowledge, but it's something about and I think I said this about you before, like I would ask you about real estate investment, not because you have the knowledge only, but you have the experience as well. I think the intertwining would allow you to communicate with me better on what I need to do versus just being book smart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if you're in a mentorship coach relationship, you add value. Because like you were saying, the guy who you're buying the property from, then you're like, well, how can I add value to his life so that this is just not a one-way relationship?
Right.
And there's something that he needs that you can provide value in his life.
The funny part is you're right. But you know what? All he asked me, he just wanted to talk to somebody about it.
That's still.
Because his kids not interested in it. That's what he does. His wife is like, I'm done with it. He just wanted to be able to pass that information on to somebody.
And you listening was the value that he needed. It still was value.
That's facts.
We don't know what other people need.
You know what? That's why we're on Intuitive to Intentional. Every Friday at 3 p.m. And when are you doing it? When does your podcast start?
That part. So I have 2 more people who I want to interview, and it will start very, very soon. All right. But in the meantime, go ahead and like at the Dana Spencer Show on Facebook, because I need 100 likes in order to see the analytics. So please go out and like the page.
I'm going to go like it right now. Let me find it right now. But hey, in the meantime, in between time, until we meet again on Intuitive to Intentional right here on 101.9 FM with your girl, the accountant and real estate agent Aleshia Renee, and also Coach Dana Spencer, the co-host of the best person I know to mentor if you're in real estate. Or hey, if you're just trying to get into that field, trust and believe you want to connect with this young lady. So hey, until we meet again next Friday at 3 p.m. right here, make sure you like me, Aleshia R. Burns, on all social media platforms. And you can find Coach Dana where?
On all social media platforms, Coach Dana Spencer, and like my business page, The Dana Spencer Show.
Hey, y'all. Thank you for listening. Until next time. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Look, I'm liking being on her page instead of mine. Miss Dana, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You got my accountant in the house. If you need a good investor-friendly accountant, definitely reach out to my girl, Aleshia.
Hey, y'all can find me on all social media platforms, Aleshia R. Burns. I'll make sure to tag myself to this video that's posted right now. But hey, make sure you check out your girl, her podcast, as she gets it going. I'm excited about what she has in store. I remember she was like, you want me on the radio? And now she's doing it big on her own podcast. I'm just happy she's still finding time to come and hang out with me at least one Friday out of the month. So hopefully she won't forget about your girl, Aleshia Renee. But Miss Dana, I'm happy for you. I really am happy for you.
Well, thank you. And you don't know what you like until you try something different. So don't be afraid to try something new.
Oh, guess what I just did, y'all? I'm here right now. Hope y'all can see that. I'm about to like it right now. So make sure y'all go.
Yay, and thank you. Like it. And when we get to 100 likes, I'm going to give away a free flight assessment, and you will get a 30-minute consultation. So definitely share it with your friends. Ask somebody else to like it. When we get to 100 likes, we will give away a free flight assessment along with a 30-minute consultation.
Hey, until next time, in between time, make sure you check out Coach Dana. Make sure you check out your girl, Aleshia Renee.
We out.
All righty.